with Mike Spiegelman. Watch a full-length movie on YouTube with Mike Spiegelman. Hi, this is Carl. I'm Mike's friend who wrote this song, you know. You should follow me on Twitter. It's 11 underscores. You know, I love going to restaurants downtown, turning your frown around, and like everybody, Paul's Countdown. Hey, I'm ready to crumba. Now let's watch a full-length movie. A-F-L-M-O-Y-T L-W-A-F-L-M-O-Y-T Let's watch a full-length movie on YouTube. Mike Spiegelman. Let's watch a full-length movie on YouTube. Mike Spiegelman. Watch a full-length movie on YouTube. Mike Spiegelman. Watch a full-length movie on YouTube. Mike Spiegelman. Watch a full-length movie on YouTube. Michael Spiegelman.
Welcome, distinguished guests, to LWAFLMOYT. LWAFLMOYT. Oh, that's an acronym. It's an acronym. Let's watch a full-length movie on YouTube with Mike Spiegelman and Carl. Hi, Carl.
Hi, Mike. Thank you very much for having me back on your show.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you back as a
Oh.
guest on Let's Watch a Full-Length Movie on
Oh,
YouTube with
wow.
Mike Spiegelman and Carl.
I'm on a streak.
Yeah. I think it's because you're a co-host that
Oh.
you wrote the song we just heard, that you had researched and watched several times a movie we're about to watch,
Yes.
that you interviewed a New Jersey comedian and got pertinent questions for our Celebrity Comedian Countdown. Good to have you back as a guest.
Thank you very much. Happy to
Yeah.
be here.
Happy to
on
be here.
Mutiny Radio.
.fm. Listen to us every Sunday at 2 p.m. We stream here first on mutinyradio.fm. We follow What's Really Happening with Luke Sayer. Great fucking show. And he gets a lot of live guests in there. A lot of great stuff. We love that show. We love Mutiny Radio. Monday and Friday, they do live comedy shows. They have comedy shows throughout the Bay, throughout the San Francisco Mission District, where the station is located. I don't think it deviates.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's like a Cow Hollow show. I think
No.
it's just right there in the Mission District of San Francisco. So you can check it out at mutinyradio.fm. We would love for you to donate. You could hit the donate now button there. You could go to Patreon. You could go to Venmo. Just make sure you donate at Mutiny Radio. Carl, our podcast, we watch a full-length movie on YouTube. You watch it with us and listen to the podcast at the same time. These are movies that I read about, and now, thanks to YouTube, I could just watch them. Carl, what's the movie we are watching tonight?
Today we will watch Deadline Auto Theft. Deadline Auto Theft.
Deadline Auto. Yeah, it sounds like thief. That's the first thing I saw when I saw the title. And I'm like, okay. Well, no, but all right. So it's Deadline Auto Theft. And
1983.
Okay.
That's what you put in the YouTube search engine. And the
Searching
channel
now.
we like is Car Chase Wonderland
2.
Right. So if you're on Car Chase Wonderland 1, quickly gather your things, run back out, search for Deadline Auto Theft 1983 Car Chase Wonderland 2.
So as Carl said, you find the link, you click it, you're going to hit pause, move the timer to 000. And then we're going to listen to a comedian. Carl has interviewed a celebrity comedian, and they're going to give us the countdown. And when that comedian says go, we want you to hit the little triangle at the bottom of your screen. Carl, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Celebrity Comedian Countdown, this time with Dave Zaitzik. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Dave, I know you as a Hudson Valley comedian. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
When people say you're from upstate New York, doesn't that piss you off? You're not, right?
No, definitely not. And it's funny because I was living in Jersey when I first started doing stand-up in northern Bergen County. And I kind of fell in with the Rockland comedy scene So when people heard that I was a Rockland comic, a New York comic, Hudson Valley comic, initially they were kind of like, well, I guess, you know. So, but now full-fledged living in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah, you've relocated, and that is it. And that's where I see you. When I bump into you, it's usually there in Nyack or somewhere like that.
Absolutely.
So one of the things I like about you is your impressions, right?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you see a comedian do an impression, and what they're really doing is an imitation of another comedian they heard do the impression. You're not like
Right.
that. How did you fall into impressions? How did you know you were good at it or get good at it?
Well, it's funny because I started doing impressions when I was a kid, like young, probably around 11, 12 years old. I was already doing impressions of pretty much everything I watched on TV, you know, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Bart Simpson. And then as I got older, I started doing impressions of like Christopher Walken and people like that just in passing, but it kept growing. And it quickly became clear that this was something I could do at a different level, you know? So I felt
and you do a great Governor Cuomo, you know,
Thank
that's
you.
kind of current. That's no childhood thing, right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Eventually, when he is back out of the public domain, people will forget his voice.
That's right. You'll
He's
be
one
on
of
to the
those-
next one.
Yeah, and most of the impressions that I do they're not necessarily timeless, but they're people that'll exist in the public consciousness for more than, say, a year or two, and then
Yeah.
they'll be, faded into the background.
Smart.
So
You've
I gotta
got a little
retire
bit of
one that I'm-
longevity. Mhm.
Yeah, and I got to retire one I'm good at, unfortunately, prematurely, but what are you going to do?
So also in New York, up in Sloatsburg, you're doing Slaughter stand-up. It's sort
Yes.
of like it's like a comedy production company, or tell me about that.
Yeah, so Slaughter Stand Up started off initially as myself, Eric Albert, Dan DiMarino, and Monty Mason.
Uh-huh.
And the four of us kind of came together and realized that we had a good opportunity to produce shows together at Characters. And over the years, we've done a couple of other venues as well, but Characters is the one that we've had the most longevity at. I think we've been producing comedy there for, it's got to be 10 years now. Yeah, 10
Whoa.
full years of monthly shows at Characters, and Eric and I run a weekly trivia night at Characters as well. So we've got a good long-standing relationship with them over there.
So what night of the week is it's still ongoing, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The trivia we do every Wednesday at Characters, and we do a once monthly stand-up show, usually the first Friday of the month. Like our most recent one was just 2 nights ago. Friday on
Gotcha.
recorded. Yeah.
June 2nd or 3rd, whatever that was.
Correct.
Okay, so also for producing shows, you used to do a show at Levity Live called Mic'd Up. Now, Levity Live is at Palisades Mall, and the pandemic took that show away, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, once the club closed during the pandemic, they weren't quick to open back up even once things started opening, and then it was limited audiences, limited shows. Everything was on smaller engagements for a while, so it kind of kept all the shows that weren't, weekend headliner shows. Anything that wasn't one of those was kind of pressed out the door temporarily. So
yeah, Levity Live is a huge headliner place. I mean, Louis C.K. was there when after he was in trouble.
Yeah,
there was Kevin Hart there trying new stuff, wasn't
Kevin
it?
Hart, yeah, just a couple months. I think 2 months ago he was there doing a weekend of shows that was just the new material test for his special.
Yeah. So they're a sort of Friday, Saturday headliner kind of place. But so it's coming back though, these smaller shows? Yeah. When do you think Mic'd Up will be?
I would hope it will be back before the summer. Like we're sitting in June right now. I'm hoping before August. You can see that now that things are opening up a bit more. I know that they want to bring the show back. Mm-hmm. So it's just a question of coordinating dates. But it'll be back in the coming couple months.
Okay, now I want to direct people to how they can find you out there on the internet, on social media, and I think your website is the way to go. But I don't want people to put in Saitzik like they don't know how to spell it, right?
Yeah.
It's davesaitzik.com.
Correct.
But it's S-A-I-T, Sait, S-A-I-T, Z-Y-K.
Exactly.
Z-Y-K. Well, that was very creative. I'm sure that's a stage name you made up, right?
I made that one up, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't a dyslexic person on Ellis Island hearing a last name, but they were like, what the hell do I do with this?
That's the backstory you made up for your stage name.
Right.
So it is davesaitzik.com, S-A-I-T-Z-Y-K.
Correct.
And what? Everybody there can find your links to social media,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, all
shows you're doing.
Exactly. Yep. All that bio, some quick clips, snippets of past performances, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So it's the one-stop shop for all Dave Satzik material.
Right. Exactly. All things.
Okay, great. Okay, now, Dave, everyone at home is poised to watch this movie at the exact same time as we do. That means they've got to press play at the exact same time. So we're going to do a countdown, and that's why you're here. Dave Satzik, why don't you give us that celebrity comedian countdown?
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. 3, 2, 1, play.
Thank you, celebrity comedian. We all hit play.
Halicki Mercantile. He's back. He's back for a third edition.
Listen to the car chase. It's slowed down. Is that the ocean or a car? No, it's a pond.
Now, this little bit I'm quacking up.
Oh, yeah. Well, duck this shit. Carl, you mentioned H.B. Halicki, Toby. You're talking about Henry Blight Halicki. This is the third fucking movie we've watched in a row, directed, starring. There he is.
Now look how he's in his Gone in 60 Seconds outfit.
Yeah. Oh, the 1974 hairstyle. Yeah. We should just say he is an amazing character. Unfortunately, passed away in '89, shooting a sequel in a car stunt. But he made these 3 movies. I guess it's not technically he made 3 movies. He released 3 movies.
Right.
Some containing
well, the first made them.
Yeah. So we watched 2 weeks ago. We watched Gone in 60 Seconds. He came up with the original. It's a great movie. In 1981,
Would you like to watch that film again?
I love that movie. I think as a cult movie, I would watch that movie over and over.
Okay, guess what? You're about to.
What are you talking about? This is brand new material. I have not seen this scene yet. No, Carl, they're on they went to a construction site. They're on a helicopter. I've seen his hairstyle. There's his name. The 3rd time in a row I've seen Toby's name. What are you talking about? This is a new original movie.
That's what I was expecting. Now,
what do you mean that's what I'm expecting? I have never seen this car. I've never seen this boat.
Have you never seen that car?
Oh, is Michael Knight in it?
Now, this is Carl, and this is the daughter of LAPD Police Captain Gibbs. There's Gibbs.
Now, last week, I thought he was Joe Don Baker, and now that I had a week to think about it, I was wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, but last week, he was in a movie in which he was the number 3 of a movie company, right? And they were filming a movie in which this car got stolen. Do you recall?
Yes. So in the last week's movie, directed by Toby, the Junkman from the 80s,
right?
They were shooting a movie called Gone with 60 Seconds. And I know that because I saw a neon sign, I saw a car painting on it, I saw the title.
Junkman was the name of the film.
Right.
Now, this is the daughter with the police chief and the fiance. And he has discovered that she is in Penthouse magazine.
That's easy to discover. You just open your mailbox every month. Wow.
There he was in the stolen chopper.
Listen, Pixar didn't happen, is what I say. I don't believe you were a centerfold.
Yeah. Now look, is this a familiar shot?
Maybe.
Why isn't it from the Junkman? Right.
The Junkman was that he wanted to reshoot the beginning of Gone with 60 Seconds, right?
Well, no, the Junkman was its own movie in which he was the director who made Gone in 60 Seconds with a totally different name. And when I saw this scene, I was like, hey, this is neat. We're seeing the movie that they made in the Junkman. That's interesting. Maybe HB is going to now show us the movie that Harlan, the fake director, made. But no.
See, that would be pretty interesting. Well, that's what I thought this movie was. I thought that Gone with 60 Seconds in 1974 was its own beast. And then Junkman was about the director who just shot a movie called, so it's meta, right?
Yeah,
and,
meta.
I love meta humor. I've never met a humor I didn't like.
Oh, I never. At my age, I'm looking back on my life, and I never met a humor. You see, it says "You don't know me" on the plate.
Yeah.
Okay, well, two things about that. One is the police dispatcher is going to get that wrong. She's going to spell it wrong. She'll be like Delta, Omega, that the internet thinks that's interesting. And the other thing is when the car gets robbed, Carl, the in-law, the fiance,
Fiance.
yeah, he will go, the plate, Mr. Cool, was already taken. And that's funny because in Gone with 60 Seconds, Lyle Wagner's car was called Mr. Cool.
My God, Lyle Wagner was in Gone with 60 Seconds. This
Well, just his photograph
right.
and his
Mr.
name.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know Mr. Cool was Fonzie's dog in the Saturday morning cartoon version of Happy Days?
Was it really?
Yeah, he wore a leather jacket and he had opposable thumbs, the
Now,
dog,
of
which he
course,
would
I
point
saw every
upwards.
Happy Days, but I was not such a nerd to see the animated series. Look at that. That's a new shot they made.
Yeah.
Wow.
It didn't really destroy the boat. Actually,
So,
thank God.
yeah, that's right. We don't want any sunken ships.
Yeah.
Now, what we've got here is just like last time, it's Hoyt Axton. And he is a very famous folk singer of the day, of the 60s, not really right now. But he
There
made
we
a lot
go.
of money. Look, same shot. This time it goes into the boat.
Yeah. Oh, so how many cars? It was the same car that went in? No, they must have.
The car count of cars they destroyed is a little skewed because 97 of them were destroyed in Gone in 60 Seconds, but we don't see all of it.
Why do
And
you bring up a
100,
totally different movie, Carl? We've
yeah,
seen that movie. This is an original film called Deadline Auto
auto
Thief.
theft, theft. And it's also mixed up with the count of the Junkman's 100 and something cars destroyed. So there's never really a car count of what gets destroyed here. No one wanted to do the math.
Whoa.
All he wants to do is show crashes. This is all new footage.
Yeah. Look,
And
everyone's
this is
getting
why
a hot dog.
I'm still believing at this point this HB Halicki is so cool. He's showing us the movie that the Junkman was in the middle of making. But no.
No, so this is.
Now look, they play tennis, but they only have the one racket. They play it off the wall. So they're throwing each other the racket.
Only in Los Angeles Reservoir. Is that where they are?
They are in Los Angeles for sure. I don't know about that reservoir part.
I forgot what it's called. Oh, thank God her shirt's wet, Carl. I was gonna say
Yeah.
his films. This is the third original full length movie we're watching from Toby Holinsky,
No,
and
this is the third original full length beginning because
he
we're
doesn't
seeing
have.
brand new footage right now.
Yeah, I know. This is exciting. I can't wait to watch an entire movie of brand new footage. Oh, I'm so excited! I got myself a porterhouse steak right here. The dine on this.
Now, this is Long Beach, California. They're in, and the internet thinks it's interesting and a continuity error that Axton is an LAPD police chief, and that is
Right?
not
Why would he be down there?
right.
But none of these cars look like a fire engine or a police car. It's his personal collection.
It is his personal collection, and all the cars say LAPD, even though they're in
Long Beach.
Long Beach. Now, there's all these little, what are they called? Vignettes? I don't know. Like these two who we saw in the beginning with the duck.
Right.
We see them throughout. They found okay, watch. This is cool. He backs up. Like, how's he going to get away from all these cop cars in this one warehouse that's emptied
Right.
out?
We need rave music in a warehouse.
Rave music would be perfect, but we
Yeah.
don't have the crowd.
They'd all die of carbon monoxide poisoning anyway.
In that, yeah, that's a good point. Now, look, see, they go out, they go in, they go out, they go in. Listen, I'm a little disappointed in HB Halicki because it was absolutely in his power to do a whole new film. I mean, he loved it. Look at all the effort he's put into
Right.
these car crashes and everything we're seeing here. Essentially, this became a director's cut of Gone in 60 Seconds, which I don't think we needed. I really don't think we needed.
So
now watch this.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Damn. Well, that's it. He's done, right? Oh no, there he is.
See, the thing is, in another movie, that would be the big car crash scene. But in an HB Halicki movie, it's just another, it's just another 60 seconds of screen time. He's always
Part of
crashing
Long Beach.
cars. Yeah.
So it isn't like this is Canada pretending to be Los Angeles. This is
No,
no.
no. This guy moved to Los Angeles, and I don't know if he became wanted to be a movie director because he was. Let me just tell you his backstory here. They were from Dunkirk, New York, which you might have seen. It remember from the Gone in 60 Seconds. There was the wedding
Right.
that the bad guy was having, and
That
that
was
was
in
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
So his father was from Austria, was an auto mechanic and an automobile salesman. He opened his own repair shop in 1919 in Dunkirk, New York, which is still in operation right now today. It's still a family-owned Halicki. Maybe I should go over there and say I would
It
like to interview you.
Yeah, no shit. It made a cameo in Christopher Nolan's movie Dunkirk
Oh,
about
did it?
in World War II. Yeah. So when
No.
they're
It was 1919. That was way before.
yeah, that was in between wars. That was at the hot tip of the World War
Yeah,
One of the world.
1917. No, maybe World War One was still raging, and
It was winding down by that point.
oh yeah,
Oh
everyone
yeah.
was they were all entrenched.
Carl, will you please? Your jokes are just over the top.
Whoa. So okay, he was one of 13 children, because some of them were like from his father's first marriage. He was from the father's second marriage. Um, and we saw that in the Junk Man. He was talking to his daughter, his fake daughter, about being one of 13 children. Anyway, he moved from New York to California, worked on vehicles. He owned his own impound and towing business in the end called HB Halicki Mercantile Company and Junkyard.
Who
And
are the
that's who
producers?
produced. You're right. It's not a movie company who made these films. It's like the auto joint, you know?
Right.
So
But yeah,
well, he would go on to have an extensive automobile, antique collection, toy collection.
which is the best part of Junkman's last week's movie where we
Yes.
went into his toy house and saw all his cars and all his signs and merchandise. It's that for me. And also the opening credits were after a week thinking about it, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
The end credits where he hand painted the end credits on cars and
Yes.
then had like car models posed by him,
That's what I'm saying. This guy could have absolutely made us a whole new film. Look at all this new footage we're
Yeah.
seeing, and their
Here,
funny
here,
bits and
here's
car
my
crash.
problem. I feel like he needs more safety patrol. I mean, unfortunately, he died, and maybe it's a little stupid for me to say this because the guy, it's a little
Well, he
disrespectful.
got injured all the time. Now, I don't have a stat on how injured he got in these first films here. That's him in the red car.
Right.
Um,
But I
but
mean, they must have been. I mean, he must have worked. He's an outsider, but he must have worked within Hollywood safety patrols. Carl, you ever heard of a movie called Roar? Like the Roar, ROAR, like a lion.
remind me.
So it's these lions or tigers, I forget. I think they're lions, but they were
Oh
actual
my.
lions. And Tiffy Hepburn had these lions, and they made a movie, and people got injured. This crew, the actors, and he released it anyway.
Yeah.
So it was released anyway, but I haven't really sat through it. I had the opportunity several times. Some movies I just don't want to see.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's all over this film. Everyone
yeah,
was getting hurt. Remember the big jump at the end of Gone in 60 Seconds? It gave him a limp for life.
yeah, and he used that footage over and over again, which is
Yes.
within his
He
right if he
earned it.
wants.
He
Yeah,
earned
he
it.
earned it. It's an
Now we're
interesting
getting
guy. I like these movies. I love the fact that this is finally a third a movie of 100% original material.
oh no, no. We've already seen the Junkman footage. And we're
Well,
going to see again. Remember, he gets out of his car and he gets onto the helicopter's landing thing. It's like we're going to see that now, and then we're going to stop seeing original stuff, except for when Hoyt Axton shows up every now and again. Now look, he's set up the wheel. He's got his VW Rabbit.
right, the VW Rabbit. Yeah, of course.
Now, the way they did this is he's really on the back of a flatbed truck, and they made the wheels spin. So he's on the back of a flatbed truck here. Now, this is footage we saw before. Now,
Right,
the
he hit his
wheel got
head.
hit in the face,
Yeah.
and I think that the briefcase falling was a mistake. I really do, even though I didn't find that on the internet.
Well, I mean, God forbid he should be carrying a fucking suitcase dangling from a helicopter.
It's his steal the car equipment.
Oh yeah.
Very valuable.
Yeah, there's the Volkswagen Rabbit.
Yeah. This is the same thing we saw in
Same thing,
Jumpman.
yeah. Same pauses. So
So
I take it this film is just going to repurpose old footage from the last two movies.
that's exactly right. And we're still excited right now seeing new footage with other stuff cut in, but eventually it's just going to be all gone in 60 seconds. Like this is all new footage of him getting
Right.
on and everything. And all the stuff with Carl and the LAPD chief, Hoist is Hoist? What am I saying?
Wait, no, Toby.
Hoyt Axton. Axton in flux over here. There he is. I'm gonna get this
Yeah.
guy. He's telling his
Next person who mistakes me for Joe Don Baker's gonna be walking small. Look at him. What an idiot. Doesn't even know how to hold a baseball bat.
okay, Joe Don. Yeah, he's trying to play cricket there, holding it backwards.
Yeah.
No, it's got the flat part with the wide.
That's one way to make a movie, have a real-time cricket game in the middle.
Oh no, I don't agree with you. I mean, you make a movie like that's just not cricket.
Carl, I had a dream that I was in Zootopia and I was at the comedy club and the grasshopper was on stage. And after every joke, I went, "How do you like it now? You
I don't get
suck."
it. Is there a drink?
Because-
Because you're the
Yeah, I'm in the audience
heckler.
heckling the
Well, look.
grasshopper
Here we are in
Big
New
cricket.
York at the original wedding.
from 74.
Yeah.
Did we just flash back 15 years, 11
Yeah, and
years?
so but the fashions didn't because they're all like polka Polish stuff.
He was breathing heavy when he in real life went into the helicopter. He was like, yeah, but he's still wearing that stupid
Disguise.
disguise. Yeah.
Okay, so now what we're finding out is it's the plot of Gone in 60 Seconds. He's been given the deal to get 48 cars within 48 hours. Okay. But this time there's the twist that the police chief is after him. This is the part in which he tells him, "You're not going on your honeymoon. You're helping us steal the car."
Right. I remember this from 2 weeks ago.
Now, Carl, that actor Carl, I didn't like it watching this film because he kept saying, "Carl, you're an idiot. Carl, you retard. Carl,
And you kept saying, "In a second, honey, I'm watching a movie." Oh, wait a
be
minute.
quiet, Carl." So I got shushed about 8 times during this film. Now, the actor who plays Carl, I knew I recognized him before. For this film, I did find his detail. He was twins on The Sopranos. He was Philly and Patsy Parisi, both guys on the HBO television series The Soprano,
Oh, I
various
didn't know.
characters in Law and Order, the Junk Bandit lists, Men of Respect, The Yards. He was Crooklyn as a con Edison man in 1994, the Spike Lee film.
Yeah.
So his success, if you want to call it that, really came pretty late. It was way after this film, but he was a mathematics professor in between.
Interesting.
So he made a living and was in movies. This is all new footage.
Yeah.
It's the deal getting made that he's going to steal the cars.
No, it's just all this equipment, all these toys are cool. I mean, we saw a boat and a plane boat and a boat plane.
Well, he made millions off of Gone in 60 Seconds, which only cost him $100,000 to make. Now, at the time, he was scraping money together. They would film stuff, then they would stop and spend about a month and a half, like repairing 40 cars. He would stockpile 10 grand again. Let's shoot. He would fund himself. And it really paid off for him when he made millions. That's how he was able to sort of do this collection. Now, the cars that he had for the first film, they were really on the cheap. Now, I know that we're talking about 1974 money, but still paying $200, which is what, maybe $2,000 today for a huge dump truck and a fire trucks. And
it's a steal.
There's Lyle Wagner's car.
Right, Mr. Cool.
Yeah. So,
oh my God, this is I've recognized this movie.
This is Gone in 60 Seconds.
Is his mustache fake?
A finger. He just edited in.
Is his mustache fake?
Yeah.
These are burning questions from 2 weeks ago.
He's wearing a wig for sure. I don't know if his mustache is fake. I don't think so.
But that's the same thing he wore when he jumped on the helicopter and climbed inside.
Yes, exactly. So that it would match this footage.
Man, I can't believe he would do all these. I mean, I understand his passion is cars and stunts, but to also do that helicopter stunt, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Well, he thought he was so cool, and he was right. He was a
You know,
badass.
well,
Now
fuck
this
Tom
was
Cruise. Fuck Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible. He does
no,
it.
no. He hung on to a plane. He deserves kudos too. It's a different thing
I've
entirely.
hung. Who
Not
hasn't hung
that
on
he's
to a
not a
plane?
badass. It's movies, but he had the balls to have. Would you
No,
hang off of a 747
absolutely
taking
not.
off?
I would go to the make sure that my movie has like a safety team and stuntman and like unions and professionalism, and that way I know the stunts are being monitored. You
Now,
know,
right now, he's the LA police chief. Go ahead, turn it up if you want. He's he's really giving them.
You know what this is? This is our Prince Charming's toolbox.
That's remember he dropped it off the car when he got on the chopper.
oh my God, so so this is new.
He got away, and we got a toolbox. He's really mad. Now, Hoyt Axton was an American singer-songwriter, guitarist, and actor. Became prominent in the early '60s, establishing himself on the West Coast as a folk singer. Back then, nobody knew folk music was going to die. Folks, folk stars were heroes and big deal on the radio,
Sure.
selling records. They just when I don't know, was it when Dylan went electric? I don't know. At some point, people said,
When
"Forget folk
Twitter,
music.
I think it
I
was
like
when
rock."
Twitter came about, and people were like, "Huh, I could hear your political views without a song."
Yeah, you don't know me. You
You don't,
don't know
yeah,
me.
you be you. You don't know me,
Now he wrote "Joy to the World," which Three Dog Night made famous.
right?
So we talked about it last week. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He did it all folky. Was a big friend of mine.
Christmas ruined that song because you hear "Joy to the World" and you think Christmas, 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 Christmas,
Christmas,
Christmas,
Christmas,
Christmas,
Christmas,
Christmas,
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I think of French food when I hear Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Okay, did you ever hear the Pusher, the song "The Pusher"?
I'm a pusher, man. Right? With
I
a
don't
little
know.
flute?
It's
No,
a
I don't.
famous song that he wrote. The No-No song, Greenback Dollar, Della and the Dealer, and Never Been to Spain. Apparently, these were big hits for him.
Right. He must have been to Spain by this point. Yeah, there's Los Angeles Airport from
Uh,
2 weeks ago. This is the same fucking movie.
yeah, it's so lax. Get it, LAX.
It's the
This
same
film
joke
is
from
so
2 weeks
lax.
ago.
And it's the same footage. Right, right. We
Yeah.
should just, you know
We
what?
just
Why don't we stop now and I will edit in the part of last week's film and the week before, and we'll rerun too.
I dare you.
HB Halicki, man. He
I
ripped us
dare
off.
you. What a ref. No, but so okay, our movies the selection are usually I like movies and I can't think of a bad movie. If you could watch it from beginning to end, it's a movie. But there's
Okay.
some films that are fucking rip-offs. And I like watching movies of all stripes. And I do like bad movies, but rip-off movies are my favorite.
Oh,
What
then
is your
you're
like Battlestar Galactica? Do you remember the original television series from the
yes,
80s? They
yes,
released the pilot and then the second episode, they edited and released it as a theatrically released
yes. I remember.
Star Wars looking movie. And the Golden Turkey Awards had a category called like worst ripoff, and that won worst ripoff.
That really deserves it because a TV show is not the same as a movie. They're different formulas
No,
entirely.
you know what? We did that for Bad Movie Night at the Dark Room in San Francisco years ago, and we live heckled it. So I've seen it. It starts off with the pilot. Here's the politics of Battle and
Right.
Galactica, Star, and a whole world building. And then an hour into this movie, 40 minutes into this movie, they're at the cantina and they're like, "Oh, Debbie broke a nail," and like, Toby's got a migraine. It must be because he has to study for finals tomorrow. Oh, but he also has to walk the dog. Doo, 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 doo. And they kept cutting the
TV show.
commercial. It was the ripoff. What? Oh, Deadpool.
This is
Deadpool
new
2.
footage. This is new footage.
Oh,
Deadpool was another.
ripoff because the sequel was R-rated, and on Christmas Day they theatrically released a PG-13 edit where they added new material where Fred Savage is in the bed from that stupid movie everyone likes.
Uh huh.
The Fred Savage movie. The
Okay.
The one with
I
Andre the
know, but
Giant and Wallace Shawn and Billy
oh,
Crystal and Carol Kane, you know, that's stupid.
bride's bride,
Brideheads
the Princess
Revisited.
Bride.
Princess Bride. So he's an adult, and Deadpool kidnapped him and put him in this in a studio to recreate the Princess Bride, and he's tied up in the bed. And Deadpool tells him the story of Deadpool 2, the R-rated version, but
Oh,
all the violence is cut out so
really?
they could do a PG-13 version, and they theatrically release it. I've seen it on DVD. It is
So he's doing Columbo's part. He's reading to the boy.
he is Peter Falk, yes. And at the end of the movie, he's like, "Okay, I'm done. Let's get you out of bed." He goes, "I can't. My legs are numb." And you could hear the crew crack up, and the camera kind of moves out, and you see it was a set all along. They were just
Was that good? Was it fun? Or was it a
well, yeah.
ripoff? Did you feel ripped off?
I'm not a fan of Ronald Reynolds, but and
Mhm.
I'm not a fan that Monica, his girlfriend, is not going to be in the third movie. I find that an
Okay.
aberration. The first movie, right? He becomes Deadpool because of Monica, right? His love.
Yes.
The second movie, he tries to save this kid because he lost Monica, his soul, right? He
Right.
wants his soul. He's the heart and soul of Deadpool is Monica. They've already said she's not going to be in the third movie.
Okay. So why have okay.
Yeah, so what's the point? Like, where's the balance? Where's the like, what happened to her? You know, what happened to that character? It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's like
Carl.
uh what's his name's Dead Dog. You love that film, the
Oh,
Matrix.
Wickian. Yeah, Matrix guy. Listen, man, it was just that Russian guy. He just went a little too far. I think if he just took the car and drove out,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
So
but
Deadpool was released, Deadpool 2 theatrically released, then it was released on DVD, and then they had like the supersonic deluxe version, super deluxe version. So they added all the outtakes, and there was a lot of backstory with with other characters. Then they did a theatrically released as well of Once Upon a Deadpool. So they cranked out like 3 different
yeah,
SKUs.
squeezed out.
Yeah, wheezed it all out.
The
So
reason
that's
we're not
another
talking about the film is we saw it
we
before.
seen it 2
Everything we're
weeks ago. Check
watching.
out our episode. But
Yeah.
Carl, I have to tell you, let's think of more ripoff movies.
Okay. Um,
This movie.
yeah. Well, one time they took a Star Trek episode on Deep Space Nine and they used all that footage and put in as if they were going back in time. So it was it a ripoff? They actually maybe it wasn't because they did a lot of effort and
Right.
they had okay, so what's
Yeah.
another well, the
Well,
Spider-Man movie that we saw on this show, they released in France
that's
and
right.
Germany.
Yes.
It was a
Spider-Man, the
2
television show from the 78 was
yeah,
released theatrically and it showed,
that's a
the TV
ripoff.
show. Oh, I just had one too. Oh, the Jackass movies, they tend to release a point .5 version.
Okay.
So there's like Jackass Forever and there's Jackass 4.5. So if you have Paramount streaming, you can see the theatrically released Jackass Forever. If you have Netflix, you could watch their DVD, direct to DVD re-edit. So it's like the
I
behind the
guess that's
scenes,
a ripoff, yeah.
like it's the outtakes. But I feel like if you compose the movie and then I have one, Smoke, and the movie called Blue in the Face.
Okay.
There was Paul Auster was a it's a New York novelist. Miramax Weinstein during the Weinstein era in the 90s he released a movie. He worked with Wayne Wang, the director, and they came out with a movie called Smoke. It's Harvey Keitel, and he's in a neighborhood in a borough, and I forget which borough.
Right,
Right?
right. Well, it's gotta
Right.
be
Staten Island.
no, it doesn't have to be.
No, it was West New York, New Jersey. It was,
Oh,
but they had a store, and like it was about his life. And the characters that walked into his cigarette, and they all smoked cigars, they all smoked cigarettes, and they chatted. So they improvised another movie where the
improvise.
characters come into this place and just hang out for another 90 minutes. And they theatrically released it. I actually saw it at the Opera Plaza in San Francisco in the screening room. So it was
Right.
like 8 seats and Madonna ad-libbing. And I was like, what a fucking ripoff.
This is all new footage.
Yeah.
Then Carl wants his car back. I
I
can't
want
drive
my
around
Carl back.
town. Yeah.
Shut up, Carl. You're a piece of shit, Carl. And you're watching this movie like, hey, man, that's just not fair.
This is new material. Look at all the footage, the pictures in the background of Carl and his fiance.
But that's the thing. Like, Toby doesn't have sex in this movie, right? It isn't like one of those car crash movies where Hal Needham has like titty women in there. Titty women
No,
by like
that's one thing about H.B. Halicki. He never exploited, like he was always the cool guy because he's stealing cars, not
right.
because he can get girls. That's never part of the plots.
So it's weird to see like just a model hanging out because it wasn't like that in the other two movies.
Well, it's not. There's Mr. Cool. You see the
Right.
plate,
Hmm.
and it's funnier early in the film if you're watching it with the sound. This is Lyle Wagner's car because Carl goes, "Mr. Cool was already taken." They're like, "What? That you don't know me? That's your plate." He goes, "Well, Mr. Cool was already taken." I thought that was
Hey,
pretty
I'm here to take Mr. Cool's car.
funny. We've seen all this. We've seen all this.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here. Oh, that's a ripoff. I went to the Wellmont Theater in
Oh, yes, in
Montclair, and
Montclair.
maybe we're talking 2017, 2018, something like that. And I saw Cheech and Chong, and essentially they did all the bits you already
Still
know.
smoking.
And they weren't doing like it wasn't like, oh, the greatest hits like a rock band playing their. I was lazy. It was lazy. They were doing their old
We
thing.
went to
They
the
knew.
Wilmot to see that. So yeah, I bet you it was still smoking where they go to Amsterdam and then they just ends with the concert.
Do you remember what that was a film that Cheech and Chong did? Was that considered a ripoff in your opinion?
Well, there's no story. I mean, it's not necessarily a ripoff because I know they're going to do material. So I know
Mhm.
that as a Cheech and Chong fan, I'm seeing it so they can get on all fours and sniff each other's butts like dogs.
Right. That was they did that like the dogs greeting each
Yeah,
other. Do you remember the one where the guy has the gun and then the other guy gets the gun? They did that one.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
did Dave's Not Here. They did, and
yeah.
you think that you'd be tickled. Oh, it's all their old classics. But I
The
was
the
watching it going, guys,
but
you're ripping it off.
the tagline of that movie is that you'll be rolling in the aisles.
Ah.
Were you not rolling in the aisles at the Wilmot in 1983?
No, I was
No,
well, I was
no.
with a bunch of friends, including Tom Kroll and Jimmy Roger. Well, yeah, I guess you don't know Jimmy, but including a lot of names you'd know from
Right.
history. So it was very appropriate. Listen to him. Listen to him.
Slow down, Charlie. Your lips are smoking. Mr. Bates, can I talk to you for a minute?
All right, never mind. We missed it.
We miss Carl.
B. Halicki is the insurance adjuster as he was before. He's Madrian Pace. It's the same thing. He's investigating. So now Hoyt is like, listen, for some reason, my daughter loves this loser. Please try to recover this car for my daughter's sake. Forget this guy.
So this is a director's cut where a decade later he kind of fleshed out the story a bit.
Did he? He made a new story that he tacked on top of. Look, is it really a director's cut? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean,
Oh, MTV, Real World MTV had a theatrically released movie, MTV Cocoon, and
yeah.
I can't find a copy. I've checked YouTube every week.
Cat,
It was
Cancun, Catcoon, what?
Cancun, right?
Cancun, like the
Yeah.
city. Okay.
And I know that it was released exclusively on video on Best Buy back when it came out. So who knows the history? But that seems like
You what?
well, I don't know. TVs have become movies. Not are they ripoffs? I mean, some
Yes.
animated films are
Wait.
basically
TV shows that become a movie and they shoot a whole movie, that's okay. But
right. When they
TV
take,
shows
but
put them
what about a children's show? Like let's say the Rugrats or Wild
right.
Thornberries or even Bob's Burgers, God bless. And the Simpsons movie from '07, don't you feel like they just basically 3 episodes in a row? But as an audience member, that's kind of what I want to see, right?
Well, okay. I remember the Simpsons movie in which they were stuck in the dome or
Right.
whatever. It really was an hour and a half its own movie. It wasn't like they made 3 TV shows and butt ended them.
But don't you feel like there was 3 storylines going on during it? So like Lisa met this charming boy in the first third, and then Bart leaves Homer for Flanders in the second
I'd have
third.
to watch it again.
Yeah.
I'd
Like
have
it
to
seems
watch
like episodes like beelines and story, whatever, but that's what I expect from The Simpsons. And you're right, The Globe was a theatrically released idea. Like that's
Uh-huh.
something you want to see as a movie.
Now we saw this before. This is the guy seeing that they have to get rid of the car because somebody noticed that it was stolen. So to get rid of their implication, they're going to tow off the truck and have it, the car, and have it destroyed. It's the same thing we saw in. I'm even like listening to myself talk about it, and it's like, don't. We saw
Yeah,
this before.
right. We've seen this. So we have, so he passed
Here comes
away.
the dog, the police dog. Remember, he's on top of the
Right.
roof, and you were like, "What is this ridiculous?" You were right. I mean, it's overkill.
Well, they trained the dog to sniff out car thieves.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a guy in a tow truck. Why is he suspicious at all? I don't know why the cops stopped him in the first
This
place.
whole film was financed on cocaine. Like the dog should be dead by this point.
You shouldn't be. This website, does the dog die? It should be, does the dog get high?
Yeah, right. Like the canine movies, like Jim
Like they,
Belushi. Wait, I don't know if I want to take the family. Let me check does the dog get high.com first. Oh
and
no,
always
it's
in
cool.
movies, you see them putting the beer in the water of the dog.
Right.
Does the
Usually with
dog
the
get
dog food
high?
in it. That was his Strange Brew, right? With Hoser, their dog. They had to pour
Yes.
and then where's
Strange
my
Brew, great
beer?
film. I wish it was on YouTube.
Mel Blanc is the voice of the father.
Yeah, that's right.
Get me, where's my
The boys brought beer.
they got jobs.
Watch this and crack. Oh,
Close the door. When they catch him having sex. He walks into his parents having sex, and it's Bob and Doug dressed up as the parents having
oh,
on top
I
of each,
forgot that
and
scene.
they have Mel Blanc's voice. Close the door.
So when viewed after director H.B. Halicki's second movie, The Junk Man, this film becomes an interesting piece of metafiction, just like you
Oh,
said.
hey, I'm all for it. I've never met a fiction I didn't like.
I did that joke on stage. I don't, it's not in my act currently, but I like Metamucil. Like now I'm at my age, I'm looking back. I never met a mucil I didn't like.
That's good.
A lot of people say it's gritty. I don't know. It's all right.
I thought you were going like Metamucil, like, oh yeah, I have some postmodern medicine, some Metamucil.
Most of the movie is a shortened version of Halicki's first film, Gone in 60 Seconds, 1974, with a new lengthy opening sequence, really was, and various other new scenes, which create a new subplot surrounding Hoyt Axton as the LAPD Auto Theft Division lead.
Right, because Hoyt's introduced in the second movie. He was nowhere in the universe of the first movie.
Right, he was not, and
So
now he's getting built.
He's merging them.
Once again, it's H.B. Halicki's brother who's working that crane. Of course, we're going back to 74 here. I feel ripped off watching this film because I'm watching right now. I know I got my new footage in the beginning, but
Right.
HB, man, Toby, dude, you could have made a whole film. It's within your wheelhouse. It's within your
Right.
power.
Well,
You
we
could have made a
we
movie.
love the guy. We love these movies. We have absolute respect. It is a shame he passed away. He was shooting a sequel to Gone with 60 Seconds. So I
Right.
don't understand in this universe that he's created where it would place. So in the sequel, it would have Hoyt, it would have the brother, it would have everyone from the first two movies and this movie. It would be
Well, I guess I would suggest we see it, but the thing is, it's like only 30 minutes.
it's 40 minutes. Well, maybe when Carl, we should register for the Mutiny Radio Comedy Festival. Maybe fly 3,000 miles.
San Francisco. When is it?
Pam has the as of this recording, it is the enrollments are available and details are available at mutinyradio.fm.
.fm.
Hey,
Don't .com.
Are you a comedian from St. Louis? Come on down.
I remember when we did go there, there were comedians from Colorado.
Yeah, across the country. It was really cool. And we had them
There was
all on
that
our
one
show.
woman who was a homeless comedian.
Yeah, and I'm friends with her on Facebook now.
She was like, I can be homeless here, I can be homeless there, just don't have a home. It's like, all right.
I think she does a lot of road gigs too.
Yeah, she must, because she has the ability to. She's free, and she was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good stuff. So if she's doing again something like that, we could just do 40 minutes within the hour recording.
Now, I want to say that in Gone in 60 Seconds 2, when he died, he did not die in a stunt, driving a car or something like that. He did die by just a freak accident of the set.
You said it was a water tower that fell out.
No, good call, but no, there was a water tower that was going to topple over in the scene, And the way they were going to get it to topple over wasn't by the crash, but they were going to pull cables. Okay. One of those tight cables snapped. It swung down and hit a light pole, like basically chopped it. And that light pole or a telephone pole. And that's what fell on HB.
Oh my God.
So he didn't die in a stunt, right? He wasn't jumping over the cars at the end of Gone in 60 Seconds, hurting himself. It was just a freak.
Right.
We've seen this all before.
I know. This is,
There's
and
gonna
this is
be a
actually,
tiger in that tank, remember?
yeah,
I don't know if you remember.
I know this is 74, not 85.
Okay, he gets in to steal the car, and surprise, there's a tiger cub in there.
Right. Yeah, right. I remember this.
Huh?
Duh.
They put in the roar sounds
Oh,
because
to answer my question from 2 weeks ago, the window was cracked open at least.
Oh
No,
my!
it wasn't. No, he broke into it. That's how.
I'm sure the tiger was very safe, Mike.
All right.
They didn't abandon an
And
animal
this,
like
I
they
don't know.
went
It's
shopping.
1974. Like you go to a beer place, you park your car, and you roll the windows up, and your tiger will suffocate. Listen, put a tiger in your tank, not in the
Yeah,
back
right.
seat.
Not in your back seat. Okay, there's an interview with Halicki, and he says that he was not excited by the first 3 minutes of the original film. Do you remember it was the train crash investigation?
Yeah, I
There
was
was a
okay with that.
real life train crash, and Halicki heard about it, and he goes, "Great, get the
Right.
crew. We're going to put this in the
And then
film."
10 years later, it's like, that's the worst part of my movie. Why would I
That's
go with my
right.
impulse? You know what I should do? I
Right.
should redo the movie. What a great impulsive idea.
That
Right?
there, we're seeing where the Eleanor lives, just like we did. Oh, new footage, new footage. What
Yeah.
did you guys find out? Go ahead, listen.
He's wearing a Boss Hog for President t-shirt.
That's what I wanted to say. He's apparently a South American heavyweight who deals exclusively in expensive cars, limos, and planes.
The guy on the left was in Junkman.
He's merging his cinematic universes.
Now, this is Gone in 60 Seconds, and the guy was going to let him test drive. So he gets out to switch seats with him, and then our hero just drives away. Ripped off car.
Oh, have you seen the Michael Jackson footage? Remember he passed away and he was going to go on a worldwide tour. And one of the things
Oh,
they did, and I think it was in Las Vegas. So they filmed his rehearsal. And when he died, they released that as a movie. I've seen it.
is that a ripoff? They
Well,
filmed
what?
the rehearsal. They were soaking.
It's a cash grab.
It's all we got of them.
Yeah. It wasn't intended to be theatrically released. It was, it was an expensive production that they recorded.
It's not a movie, but it is a album. This happened to Hendrix over and over and over. People would release a record that was Hendrix, and it was just a recording of this rehearsal or whatever, another take or whatever.
Right.
So the Michael Jackson stuff, did it look like he was in rehearsal, or did it look
Yeah,
like?
no, it was for a show. So it was a lot of not filler. I mean, it depends on your view of history, but the dancers auditioning and they would talk to the camera. I'm really excited to be working with Mr.
Oh,
Jackson. This is his life childhood dream. And then they show
the
him on this
making of.
Vegas stage and he's like walking through his songs and he's performing them. And then they have like working with the people and the people talk, and then people are like, oh, I love Michael Jackson. Oh, how sad, like
Did you think that they were soaking footage that they could have never used and just cranking out a movie?
it's so mixed because the history of Michael Jackson, he was so in the hole and he was going to they wanted him to perform so much. Like
In the
this is right
whole, like,
before he died.
money-wise? He was
Money wise, yeah, remember
oh,
he's just burning money and everything and all this stuff. So he needed to go back in the public light. He needed to work. Oh, he found heroin. Yeah, right. Let me
yeah, we
check.
saw this in the I don't even feel like telling you. So you remember the bad guy is like, let's sell this heroin, and HB
Right.
is like,
Yeah, the
don't be
bad guy, the
stupid.
adversary.
Yeah.
And Felicity like, no drugs. The only type of topless women are the ones you find in a garage. No sex, no drugs.
Now the same thing, like I had to say to you in Gone in 60 Seconds, like, you think HB Halicki's being really smart. If this is heroin, we return it to the mob or whoever. We just put the car back where you found it. But then instead, HB Halicki burns the car, and it doesn't make any sense.
We
Why
never
you
really
wouldn't?
and they don't shoot him at the end like in Ozark.
Yeah, like in Ozarks.
Right, so they spilled the heroin on the floor, so they're gonna move the car over it.
Well, they're actually going to have the cop himself do it. It was pretty
Right,
clever
that's
when we
right.
saw the film.
Man. Yeah, so the Michael Jackson, it was like he was gonna do the show and they were gonna overwork him. It was not possible. So for me to see the footage,
Yes.
it's archive. I mean, it's the closest I'm gonna ever get to see what this train wreck, what this was supposed to be. So, I watched it, but I didn't watch it as a movie. I didn't watch it
Uh-huh.
as a performance. I watched it because it existed.
Yeah, okay, so it's a mixed bag of if it's new or okay, so the cop missed the heroin. He's the one going, there's a thief. There's a car thief ring around here. Keep your nose. Okay, Adrian
Right.
Pace, keep your eyes out. Let
You
me
can't you
know.
can't you can't miss them. They're shady characters.
Yeah.
All right, we got you. Yeah, they have horrible taste in clothing. Okay, all right, man.
Halicki sought to improve upon the original Gone in 60 Seconds, 1974, by re-releasing it with these new scenes, which are far more extravagant and costly than was originally shot. Without the different title, it could almost be a director's cut of the original movie. I kind of don't agree that it could be a director's cut. I mean, it's supposed to
He
be its own film.
I respect it for that because he did. He said, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to course correct. I'm going to recon this. I'm going to say that the people in the second movie were in the first movie the whole time, and this is how it's going to
But this
look."
guy was so cool. He was such a badass. It was absolutely in his power to make a new film. And we see that from the entire opening. I really think he was being lazy here and just cranking out. Okay, let's look at what movies he did make because maybe this was the only lazy one.
Well, I mean, he's independently financing these movies. Maybe he couldn't afford a
Yeah.
full length movie, and he knew that he had enough original movie footage. He can get this in the theaters and make back his money.
I guess you're right. It's just that he certainly had a lot of movie from the first film and he spent it on the property and amassing a collection of interesting things. Maybe you're right. Maybe he ran down of okay. Love Me Deadly Racer in 72. He was an actor and associate producer, but then 74 Gone in 60 Seconds. 82 is The Junk Man.
Right.
So he went through his money, maybe, and said, I got to make a new film because that was 8 years later. It took him 2 years to make the film. Then he had a documentary also in 82 called The Making of the Junk Man. That sounds pretty cheap, right? Just did a 83 was Deadline Auto Thief, only 1 year later. So he
He must
obviously
have had extra footage, or he had an envision because the second movie is about it. The director of Gone with the 60 Seconds. So he probably was like, you know what? I have all these ideas. I gotta burn
now in
this car.
88 he did something called Deadly Addiction, in which he was simply the actor. I don't know about that film.
Really?
Yeah. But in 89, we had our Gone in 60 Seconds too. He was going to make a whole new film, and that's when he passed,
Now,
which is, yeah.
I'm curious. Like, he must have worked within Hollywood as a stuntman, right, or as a coordinator, or something like
No,
that. No.
no. He does have the title of stuntman in his credits of producer, director, actor, but it's his own films.
So hey, look, that red car on the wall that was in the opening credits of the Junkman. See, he's pointing at.
I
What?
don't.
It's right there.
Oh, that car. It was in the credits in the opening. Yeah.
It's funny, like, they have a good sense of humor, like these like car garages where they have all this knickknacks on the wall, right? The peace
Mm-hmm.
signs and shit like that. And then the Junkman, his own toy house is fucking wicked. It
Yeah.
has even more shit on the walls. Yep, there's the John Wick. $5 million for John Wick.
Now
Hello, I have
on,
tattoos and I'm using old timey telephone contract. He has been expropriated. They made
what?
up. They took like old fashioned I forgot, excommunicated or some shit like that.
He's out of the Russian mob.
What is the word when you take a church and
Excommunicated. Oh wait,
excommunicate?
no, no, you get
It's not
kicked out of
holy
the church.
anymore. Like there's a church is holy, and then the holiness is removed. They did that with the hotel. Remember, you couldn't kill people in the Continental, and then in the second movie, they're like, "Fuck that shit, that's been removed," and they start in the third movie, and they start
I
beating
don't
each other
know
up.
the term.
I don't know.
Extra-churchified?
I learned a lot of words in John Wick. I learned what parlay means,
You didn't
right?
know parlay? All
Well, I
right.
didn't know that you walk into a rooftop and go parlay. Like I saw it in context. We should have a parlay. Let's have a parlay. Here comes John Wick in the rooftop. Parlay.
In medieval France, there would be a war, and you would do a parlay, which meant the leader of the opposite army was allowed to come in and negotiate in your territory, and you promise you weren't going to kill him.
That's
It was,
just one view of French history. What is Adam Driver's story? Think of
and then there was parlay in evoked in the Johnny Depp films, the Pirates of the Caribbean. It was used in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where it came from. Okay, now in Gone in 60 Seconds, you had to go to the bathroom or something. You left, and I watched this with the audience, and I complained that it's the worst. We're going to see Halicki walking these cars, and then I forgot her name. It's someone's. Well, the woman is it cut with her in the office, just thinking. It goes back and forth and back and forth. What was her name? Pumpkin was her name. So here we see Halicki walking cars. Then we see Pumpkin in the office looking at pictures. It's just so stupid. How much time is wasted on what we're seeing right now? And it doesn't make sense because H.B. Halicki was all about showing you action on the screen.
Right. Well, he's showing his toys. I mean, he's
No,
about.
he's got to go to the cars he stole and take out the Eleanor and return it because it was uninsured. And then they'll go
If you haven't
steal
listened
it.
to the episode, Eleanor is this like holy grail of cars.
Well,
That
it's
this
the code name for the 1973 Mustang, Ford Mustang, because it was never going to be another Mustang made. So it was the most popular car of the day. And that's why it was the one to steal.
she's thinking,
He's
sitting, thinking.
thinking, he's walking, he is walking, he is walking. Ah, interesting. An open hood. He's walking. She's thinking. She is thinking. He is
Yeah,
walking.
this is not a good director's choice, I guess.
Yeah.
Look at the cameras moving both ways.
Yeah.
Someone's walking, camera moves. Someone's sitting in place, camera's moving.
Now he's in the Eleanor. He's got to return. And now we're going to stop seeing this stupid sequence and we're going to get our 40-minute chase.
Right. The famous 40-minute chase.
Right. And why are we watching it again? It's already famous.
Maybe she's like Kingpin or some like she's just thinking about the family and the histories of crime. I can't believe I
No,
don't know.
that's Pumpkin. That's the love interest of H.B.
Helsinki.
Halicki. Yeah, which is Madrian Pace. Not Adrian. Not Adrian. It's Madrian. Why? That's Madrian Pace. So she is not. She's a worker bee. She calls
Right.
up and makes sure the cars are insured.
Well, you know, I actually in the last 2 weeks that we've seen this, and I know that I walked out for a cigarette. I have the script, and according to this, she's thinking like, "Oh, I hope he's okay," and then she's like, "Did I let the cat out? Did I let the cat out? I don't."
Did I leave Did I leave the stove on?
Did I leave the stove on? Hey, is there really all the days of the weekends with Y? It's so crazy. It's not true in
They're
Spanish
all
though.
days. That makes sense. Okay, so Eleanor's returned, and they're going to go steal the new one from the apartment building where they saw it originally. And meanwhile, the bad guy has tipped off the cop who's looking for the ring.
Right.
He goes, "If you want to find this ring, then put a stake out on the such and such apartments." And that's going to lead us to our 40-minute chase.
So weird. This is like this is the prologue of the chase.
Yeah.
This is setting it up.
Pre.
Wow, look at that. He got a camera up on a telephone pole.
Is it prologue and epilogue? Is that how that goes? Before and after? Okay, this is the prologue.
The prologue says, "Listen, this is going to be really good. I'm so pro for this." And then the epilogue is like, 10 years later.
So there was a writer who only did logs. He would log his epilepsy. He would log down what he was very good at it. He was
Is
a
epilogue?
pro log.
Yeah, he was a pro at it.
Yeah, and he would do it was a epilogue of his epilepsy. Okay, I don't know why we're watching this film anymore from this point on. It's just going to be what we saw before. So
If you don't think these jokes are funny, it's because Carl and I are amateur logs.
I'm not a prologue.
Yeah, this is it. Oh, look, it's the John Wick. 5 million bounty for John Wick sending out.
Why was she punching a punch clock when she's
Because
sitting there at her
she was
job?
placing the order for the assassinate John Wick at
I
5
guess it's the
o'clock.
two computers, and it was a timestamp for the paperwork. I guess seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. That's how you keep bureaucracy going. Oh, here we go. We said it last week. Sabotage.
I can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'ma set straight this Watergate.
Yeah, I just saw a movie commercial with that song used for some kids' movie.
It was a great video, right?
Great
They were
video.
doing
Yeah,
the 70s cops. It was really good.
They did Sofia Coppola had a show on Comedy Central, and one of the things she did was she interviewed them in character.
As the cops?
Yeah, they're
That's
like at
really
a.
interesting.
It's interesting.
Because you're all in my face. Now the car alarm's going off, so he's going to deactivate it, and that's a tip off to the cops. And it's like, oh, if you hear a car alarm, it might mean it's being stolen.
Oh, that's what a car alarm is?
The International Towers.
Yeah.
Ripping off somebody.
I need to live in a building that has a stupid title on it.
Look how he has got high heels and bell bottoms. It is the day.
Right, and then it cuts to this 85 where they're all like.
Right, because this film came out in 82, and bell bottoms were seriously way done, way over in 82. And you certainly didn't wear high heels as a. Well, maybe that's not true. I better not start talking ass here.
Carl, do you consider a sequel that just repeats the first movie a ripoff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a flashback or something?
Well, no, it would be like Blues Brothers 2000. They have to get the band back together again,
Right.
and then at the end perform for the devil or whatever. But
okay, Blues Brother 2000 wasn't a ripoff because they really did make their own film, but it was lame because they were trying to recreate. It couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. They had a hit. And
I saw it in the theater where the James Brown performance. It was a great moment in being in the theater because everyone was lit to it. It was all it was a good show. But yeah, like not Ghostbusters, but some films like. I don't know. There's a nostalgia value. If you're doing a sequel to a 30-year-old movie, you want to acknowledge the cultural references. But on the other hand, I guess
there
like
is the new Jurassic Park with the original cast all back.
I guess that's not a ripoff because they're continuing the story.
Yeah. So my son, when he was little, really loved Jurassic Park. He did. And then he liked the second one, which was To Live and Die as a Dinosaur in LA.
That's right. Yeah. It was shot in Canada, ironically.
And then he liked the third one just because the
Los Angeles world. I remember that.
LA world. Now, the third one was with Julianne Moore and Vince Vaughn, is that?
Right. And that was called Jurassic Park 3. They were just like, fuck it. That's in Larry Sanders. Larry Sanders, Jeffrey Tambor's character, the sidekick. Artie goes up to Vince Vaughn playing himself, and he's like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I was in Jurassic Park."
That's his claim to fame. Not
I love that.
Not Cell Block 99 or whatever it was.
Oh, I saw that movie. Fucking sick film.
It really was. So what I'm saying is, I was saying to my kid, look, they're making new Jurassic Park. And he was like, cool. Now he's like, he was 19 or something. And he was like, you know what, Dad, it's a ripoff. It's not the same. I mean, they're just hawking the name Jurassic Park. And you do see the dinosaurs and everything.
Right.
But it's not what it was in the original, in which there was nothing. And then this guy created something. He was like, they're just hawking more. It's not done by Spielberg. It's just they're cranking them out now.
Part of the reason why the original was so popular is that the book was insanely popular.
It
So,
was.
it wasn't.
Michael Crichton. So my kid was really little, like 8 or 9, and he used to read to me when he to go to bed. Like it used to be, I would read them the story, and then I taught him how to read. I really did, and then they
Yeah.
would read to me. So he got to this part about an alligator impregnating one of the eggs, and it talks about how he puts his penis in. And my kid is coming up to read this part, and I don't know that's coming, and he doesn't know anything. So he goes, inserted the penis into talking. And it didn't even become he didn't say, what's a penis, Dad? Never
Yeah.
even came up.
Should I stick my penis into a crocodile?
Son, I
Bottoms.
don't discourage you from any of your urges, but a crocodile might not be so safe. Whack!
Yeah, that's right. Well, she was from the first movie.
This whole thing, all we're going to watch all the way to the end now is just a repeat of Gone in 60 Seconds. Every now and again, Hoyt will stick his nose in as the LAPD chief and say, get him!
Well,
He's going that way!
We watch these
Make
movies
left!
on YouTube, right? Yeah, they insert it. No, don't go to the bicentennial stage. Head over
Okay,
there
chase
by
is
the L
over.
stage.
Chase is over. He got him.
No, it's 45 minutes, you said. We're not even,
Chase
we
is
haven't even
done.
stressed
He's
it.
caught.
I guess it's over. All right, we did this 2 weeks ago. It's done. Nothing. He has to quit.
But then the bystander says, oh shit, he's going to drive right over me. Oh, I'm getting out of the way.
Yeah, as slowly as possible.
Escape. Quick, shoot his headlight.
There's a lot of bystanders in this movie.
Yeah, we talked
Onlookers.
about it in the first film. This was when he was not known at all. He might have had permits or whatever and the support of the cops, but he just let regular people walk the streets.
Yeah.
You see that baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he would go on to be an actor, he would be like, yeah, I was in Gone in 60 Seconds.
My credits include.
Right. Wow, you've been doing this a long time. Yeah.
Sir, excuse me, this is a red carpet for Gone in 60 Seconds for Nicolas Cage and Angelina Jolie. It's cool. It's cool. I'm cool. I'm legacy.
I was in the original. Look at that shot.
Oh.
Queen Mary. Now this is again Junkman footage.
So this is Queen Mary 2 in the 80s, right? No.
I think you're right. I think it's Queen Mary 2.
Oh, there it is. There's the guy from Junkman. Oh, right.
Yeah,
This is the Junkman footage he's adding.
It's his
Weird.
car that gets stolen. He was the DJ. He was driving. They stole his car.
We saw The Wild World of Jane Mansfield.
Great film.
Great film. But, they had actresses portraying her. So that's a bit of a ripoff.
They did?
Well, wasn't like, I just want to be a
they had,
movie star.
Yeah, you're right about that. After she died, they did fill in footage with a lookalike from behind and stuff like that. I remember that.
Faces of Death. How's that for a ripoff movie?
I don't know. Is that a ripoff? That was the horrible.
The snuff movie, but I think the snuff movie, they would show like a chicken being beheaded, but then they would fake some other stuff. And that's kind of based. The show did Mondo Carne in this first year, and we had to stop it, because it's this like exploitation, the shock of the world. It's a dog's world, Mondo Carne. And one of the things,
Carne
dogs,
meat in Spanish, and it was world.
I think it's Italian, like a dog world.
Okay.
Like,
carne means dog.
Yeah, but a lot of movies, exploitation films, were inspired. So you saw a lot of Mondo movies. There was one about New York performance art from the 80s called Mondo New York. I recommend it. It's very, and
should I see it?
If you have the opportunity, yeah, it's funny. It's really dated. It's good. Yeah.
Because I have Netflix DVD, so don't mislead me here. Should I rent that film?
Yeah, but I bet you Netflix is only going to have the VHS copy of it, but you should definitely.
I'm hearing from your vibe. Don't waste your time with Mondo New York.
Listen, if Mondo New York is on IFC, or I don't even know how it's on. I'm going to have to check if it's on. It's good. I like it. It's funny.
Okay,
they have a scene.
Yes or no?
Yes. Well, how about this? Ann Magnuson is in Central Park, and there's a dead horse lying on the ground, and she has a whip. And her portion of the movie is she's flogging the dead horse.
Beating a dead horse? Oh my God.
So if you think, wow, I can't wait to see more of that, then yes, I recommend it.
Okay.
Do
One good
you
thing about putting stuff in my DVD queue, like now, because like 3 months from now, I'll get it and I'll be like, what the hell is this?
no, I'm not
So,
New York. What the
right.
fuck?
And I will force myself to watch films that I would say, I'll skip it because it just in the mail and it's the next one.
Well, it's a
So,
pile. It's a physical pile. I have the same thing. Yeah. The worst is that I'll go through like a streaming service and go, wow, yeah, I always wanted to see that. Oh, interesting. And
well,
then like
that's
weeks
how I
later,
saw Cell Block 99 or whatever. You told me about the film. I said, should I see it? You said, yeah. So then it came and like, I don't know if I liked the film. I liked how he was like a super badass. He
right.
learned that the only way to get out of this was to get himself transferred to the other prison. So he did it. I don't know. When he got shot in the end, it was really cheap because it looked like a doll. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you knew that he knew he was going to die, and
Yes.
the whole thing was that he was going to die at the end. He knew it,
He
so
knew it.
it kind of yeah, yeah. Well,
He was
that
doing it to
director,
save his kid and
yeah,
wife,
he saved his wife.
his unborn kid.
Vince Vaughn returned and worked with that same director for a movie called Dragging on Concrete or Dragging Knuckles on Concrete.
Uh-huh.
Him and Mel Gibson play crooked cops, and they tried to pin bullshit on this guy, and this guy kind of upends it. Like he kind of churns and takes down these crooked cops. And if you thought like Cell Block 99 was amusing, it was a
Did I
walk in the
see
park. If you think that
Dragging
was
Knuckles on Concrete? Is that what it's
or
called?
like dragging on concrete or something stupid like that.
I'll look it up.
It's another intense movie. Yeah, the director's, he has a voice, I guess.
Now, look, it's 1974, and you're seeing that kind of computer. In 1982, computers had a totally different look. So if
Paul
you're
had a
watching this film in 82, 80, wait, 83, right, was Deadline Auto Thief. If you're watching this film in 83, don't you feel like you see people in bell bottoms, you see
yeah. Well, you see car takes, you see Los Angeles. It looks different.
it's
It absolutely
obviously
looks different.
old. Yeah. This chopper's taken off was new, by the no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I'm
This is
just
Gone
amazed
in
how he gets
60
these
seconds.
shots. Where he places the camera, you know what I mean? Like, and then pastes it together. It's impressive.
No, you're right. HB Halicki, right now, we're watching him as a non-famous person, not an actor, not a stuntman, financing with his own money. Remember the toy play?
Yes, I remember. Oh yeah, the BMX bikes.
He's showing BMX bikes just for production value because they were there. It's impressive what he does.
Yeah.
And he came from New York, like Sloatsburg, you know what I mean? He came from Dunkirk, New York, all the way out to LA and became huge with the junkyard and an auto repair shop. He got the contracts with all the local cops. He had all the tow truck work. If you needed a tow truck, you were dialing his number.
Right.
He became a big deal and he was a badass. Now, probably in person, he was a very conceited person. He probably did cocaine. I'm sure there's negatives about him, but sitting back from my seat far away, this motherfucker is a badass. Look what he's doing right now. He doesn't have a stuntman in there. It's him. He's having fun.
And no, I mean, he edited this movie, so he was able to. I mean,
Well,
just
there
all this.
was an editor, but he was over his shoulder the whole way, and we
Right.
even saw that in the Junkman.
So
Remember
we saw
these
this.
guys?
Yeah. So they're just getting high and drinking, and eventually, like 17 minutes later, a shopping cart will show up in front of them, and they'll be like, "Look out!" And then in the second movie, there's other three kids in a car getting high or whatever, and they get
Mexican.
hit. Yeah, Mexican, right? Mexican rose. The car says painted on it.
Right. He was just doing stereotypes to make the audience laugh.
Right. Drive-in.
Right. But it's like, okay, in our woke times, that would be fucked up. But it wasn't our woke times, was it? And people at the theater did get a chuckle out of that. You know what I mean? Like he knew what he was doing.
But I feel like, there's not really people in this movie. There's no real moment where people are just hanging out.
No,
So
there
I'll
is
take
so yes.
yeah.
No,
So I'll take it.
like right here. She goes, "Oh, it's finally over." and the
Oh, yeah,
they're
it's been 45
flirting.
minutes.
So the movie is now over because the chase is over. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe the chase isn't over.
And we had watched it, and you had shown me that at the end of the 45 minutes, he sees a brand new version of the car, and he
Right.
just
Just
gets out of the trek.
coincidentally.
Yeah.
And
He
it's
pulled
only 40 minutes. Don't oversell it.
Oh, it's not 45? That'd be crazy.
That would be great. That's too much.
And then the Junkman last week had like a 30-minute chase. Is he gonna add that chase to this movie too, or no?
No, no, that was in the middle of the film and people were trying to kill the director, so it doesn't fit.
You mentioned the scene where he got himself a limp, where he injured
Yeah,
himself.
we'll
We
see that
watched in the
again.
beginning. So yeah, like he used the footage, he slowed it down, he did every kind of effect he can think of.
Angle,
And then he showed that scene again in the second movie, or at least in the trailer of the second movie, he
yes.
had that scene.
It was in it. It was in
It
it.
was in it, and now he's just showing whole cloth, once again, the scene of his accident.
And we'll see that scene again, and it'll be in slow motion and all the angles, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
It's like the special effects in a 70s porn movie. Let's freeze frame and, like, have it go, "Woo, ah."
So there was a real accident in this sequence in which a cop car did not unintentionally rolls over. It might have already passed, but I think it's coming up. This is all intentional.
Yeah.
Bam!
Bam. Oh, my
Oh, my
eyeball.
bloody head. And he got away.
Wee-hoo. Yeah, but the bad news is there's nothing but, religious shows on the radio. Can't you
Now
play some music?
the cops who have been with them from the start of the chase, they started it. They're back on it. Turn it on. She goes, "Are you still in pursuit?" Maybe we missed it. She goes, "Are you still in pursuit?" And he goes, "Well, what do you think? We went and got coffee. Yes, we're still in pursuit."
Is it just the original movie until the end, or
Well,
no, they gotta tie in the new stuff.
yes, it'll get tied in. Do you remember at the car wash they arrested the owner of the car wash mistake? Yeah, so Hoyt will show up going, "That's not our guy."
Our guy walked up. Yeah, right. Look, according to this movie, so strange. Okay, so let's talk Quentin Tarantino for a quick second. He said in
Oh,
the 90s when From Dusk to Dawn came out that he likes to make two types of movie. One
right.
about like Reservoir Dog criminals, and one about the movies that those criminals would like to see. So there's a reality
Okay,
world and a fantasy world.
right.
And actually in the movie we saw, Death Proof,
Death
he
proof.
has
Yeah,
characters. The sheriff that shows up with his family gets killed in From Dusk to Dawn, so
right.
that character was in. So in a way, I feel like Death Proof is a kind of a fake
That
movie.
film made all sorts of inside jokes and callback references. It was Quentin Tarantino's own jukebox.
Right.
I mean, it was you were in a Quentin Tarantino world. It's like in Being John Malkovich when John Malkovich goes into his own head.
Yes.
That's what it was watching this
That's a
Quentin
really good
Tarantino.
point
There
of it.
was
That's
a
a really good point.
DJ Jungle Jenny or whatever it was. Like,
Julia.
yeah, he just
Right.
bit off his own world. Look
Right,
at that.
because he had a
That's real. Do you see how he hit the
yeah.
that was real? He really got hurt. He was passed out, knocked out. And when he woke up, he goes, "Did we get coverage?" That's what a badass this guy was. Did you get the shot?
So crazy.
Yup.
Oh, and then later he just said, "Okay, let's shoot."
Yeah, he recovered, and then they just kept going.
I remember watching the behind the scenes for Reindeer Games, this old Ben Affleck
Oh
movie,
yeah.
and there's a scene where Ben Affleck breaks through an ice, and he falls in the water, and he gets out of the ice and he fights. And
Yeah.
behind the scenes, they had a hot tub next to the ice to immediately get the actor into the hot tub, or he would die. There's no way you can in real life get out and fucking run and get
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
continue. You would have to go into a hot tub and make sure that you're physically okay for the
Wow,
rest of the day.
that even seems like it would be you have the extreme of one and then the extreme of the other. That seems like unhealthy, like dangerous.
Maybe, yeah, it might be, but I do know that they had to get him heated immediately after that.
Watch,
So
you see the cables where they pull over the garbage
yeah,
truck. $200 at auction.
right. The garbage truck says like HB on it. Blight. Why would you name your kid Blight?
What?
His middle name is Blight, Blight.
I don't know. His father, what I mean, they
1919,
started
yeah.
right. That's when they started the shop. I mean, it was an old school, different time.
Do you think
Those
he
are real
inherited?
onlookers. A burning garbage truck, and people are just staring at it on the side of their, going through their day. These are all real
Yeah,
cops.
real people.
No, okay. The people getting out of the cars, helping people in the cars, those are all not real people. But the people on the sidewalk are
Yeah.
real, and they really think there's been an accident.
Well, they must see the cameras too.
Well, yes, but there's all these stories about people getting mad at the cops saying, help this
Huh.
person, they're injured.
This is basically the second movie too, right?
What? This is
Well,
the first film again.
yeah, all right.
This is all gone in 60 seconds.
I knew this movie was a flaming trash pile, but they didn't have to actually show it.
This is new. This is new. We
Right,
got
there's
him. He's on the such and such freeway. Good work. That's really the guy from Gone in 60 Seconds, the original cop, but he's older now.
oh, it's so crazy. So that's proof. I felt like, whoa, this whole theory of having a real life and fantasy movies, it colluded. Like you're absolutely right. It's its own universe. It's its own,
Right.
absolutely. But this movie does that too, because the second movie is about the director who made Gone with 60 Seconds.
Yes.
And he meets with Hoyt and everybody. And now this movie is like saying Gone in
Okay,
60
watch. Here
Seconds
comes
actually happened. Yeah, here comes the shopping cart.
Hold on. Whoa, that just happened. Yeah, so go ahead. So Tarantino, you were in his own world, and
Right. But so the first movie was real life. The second movie says no, it was a movie, and here's the adventures, real life adventures of the director of that movie, and here's the cops that help the deal with him. And this movie says the cops and the events of the first movie are real life.
Right.
So what happened to the director who made this real life? I don't.
Harlan was the director, and he
But
just
he's
didn't
not in this
exist.
movie.
Yeah, they call this a trilogy, and they should. This is the real mayor, by the way, of
Carson,
Carson.
City of Carson.
It's not Carson City. I don't think.
No,
I think
no, it's
that's
not. It's Carson.
Yeah,
Carson City's in the Bay Area.
and Carson was established like in 1948. It was really late. You know how LA is all desert. Not anymore, but talk about urban sprawl. And there was no water. There was no water to make this urban sprawl. They just had the money, so they did it.
Urban blight.
Zoom. These are not just onlookers in real life. They are actors.
Well, these people in the seats, the shirtless guy.
Yeah, they're just they're not actors, but they knew that they were.
Toby, my character wouldn't be wearing a shirt at the conference.
Look how short his tie is.
Dude, put your fucking shirt on.
Original.
Sorry, girl. If I saw an audience member with his shirt off, I get so fucking pissed.
What a comedy? I never had
Put your fucking shirt on.
I never had that.
I never had that.
Even outdoor shows.
This is first movie. I remember this.
It is. It's remember the car chase originated at the radio station. The guy didn't know it was his car though. And they've been covering it, and the roving reporter and the chopper, the traffic chopper.
Fox.
Right. It's all country all the time or something like that.
Now, we talked a couple weeks ago about how you can't understand why radio stations begin with the letter K. Are you over that?
Well, no, I understand. It's just so weird. Like if your favorite radio station starts with the K, you're a weirdo.
Why don't you just put some best mayonnaise on it? You mean Hellman's? What's going on?
I didn't get that joke, but that's okay.
Well, half of the West Coast, Hellman's is called Hellman's in the East Coast. It's called like Best Mayonnaise in the West Coast. It's like
Oh,
Hardee's and Carl's Jr. are the
yeah.
same thing, but it depends on what part.
Oh, why would they have different names?
I don't know.
Legal reasons or something.
I think they're still bitter about the war against the states.
Okay. I just want to apologize. Those are real people. You see how they're gawking?
Yeah.
Holy shit. You're not going to believe what happened today, sweetheart. I was at work. I was going to get my Carl's Jr. Hardee's. Where are you going?
I
Where
gotta
are you
plug in
going?
my phone.
Don't do this to me again. Okay, now in this, not this scene, but this guy who's talking, I'm not sure who it is, but somebody almost gets killed, and we'll see that when there's a car collision. And I apologize, audience. You already saw this 2 episodes ago, and
I got notified that the
apologize.
battery was low.
We're gonna watch. This guy almost gets killed. Hold on, Mike. When the car impacts, you can see him. He looks. See, he scrambles away.
Yeah, he scrambles away.
He really almost did get killed.
He was named Employee of the Month at Mazda for that. They put his picture on the wall. Framed picture.
So, once again, I'm apologizing to the audience because we thought we were watching a trilogy.
We've already talked about this scene.
We thought we were watching the third episode in the trilogy, and we really thought that when the film started because it was all new footage. Then I started going, what the hell? Before I do the research, I watch the film first. That way, my first viewing of the film is as an audience member with no information, because then when you learn stuff, you go, and it all ties together.
But it doesn't have, he shows this whole scene, this whole 45-minute chase.
We are watching Gone in 60 Seconds right now. Yes, we are. That's Brogan Cattle. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. That's the dealership where they had the oil slick, and he had a bunch of his own Cadillacs up front. It slid in and wrecked up this. Turn the sound on.
Okay.
That's. I love how she falls apart. I can't believe her eyes. Keep it up. He should win the Oscar, man. That was acting.
That was great.
That was great.
So much drama.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Someone called the Ghostbusters and they were on the phone.
What? We already called the cops. Who are we going to call?
This is too hot to handle, but too cold to hold. We better call the Ghostbusters to get them on the phone.
Okay, we just saw Hoyt again as the LAPD theft department. He'll show up every now and again, especially because we're getting towards the end of the chase, and they'll have caught the wrong guy. This is where the oil slick was, and this is where he had to buy a bunch of. I just turn up the sound last time for her too, because she calls the owner and goes, "It's a mess here, boss. I just don't know what to say."
This is Joaquin.
This is Richard Nixon.
I don't know how to tell you this, but this whole place is a myth. The front blind got wiped out on his car. There were some police chasing something.
What?
I don't know what it was at all.
I'll be right there.
What a businessman, right? He keeps his cool. There's going to be.
But we don't see him again, so he never really follows up with him. Oh my God, Carl, have we watched a rip-off movie where it's just like it's the same fucking thing?
I'm embarrassed in front of Mutiny Radio listeners. This is
we're ripping you
off. Watch again. It's almost a rerun here.
It's a vicious cycle, man, because we watch bad movies. This is a bad movie, but it's unwatchable. We have to watch it.
By the way, in transparency, I did not watch this film 4 times. I didn't.
You've seen it.
I watched the beginning 4 times for sure, and certainly at the end. I don't know. I'm embarrassed.
God, I
We're
wonder what it'd be
coming up
like.
on the big jump, by the way. We're almost wrapping up here. Not quite. We'll be in the middle of the thing. We're coming up on the big jump that gave him a limp for life. He
Now we mentioned.
compacted 13 vertebrae. They squeezed
Oof.
in his back spine.
Well, because one of the things they do is they show people after the aftermath of these stunts, and it kind of grounds it a little bit. You don't see that in Hobbs and Shaw, say,
Right.
where
You won't see it in
yeah,
the Fast and the Furious films.
yeah, you won't see
Look at
this.
this. We're seeing repercussion.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. The pants, I don't, not much, and it is kind of ironic that it's going to be right before he really hurts himself.
I suppose that's ironic, but it's one of the reasons why this guy is a badass. He was absolutely willing to do. There was nothing bullshit about. I mean, it might have been bullshit about him, but when it came to, I mean, if you were in a bar fight, there's tough talkers, and then there's guys who are going to swing.
Right.
Toby would be swinging.
All right,
Okay,
here we
here
go.
comes the big jump. Turn up the sound.
Say it again, second time.
See how he freeze framed and put the two together?
Yeah.
Now watch his vertebrae right here.
Oh, Carl.
Ouch! It just happened in real life. He just got.
All right.
Here it comes again. He's going to get. Now, from this angle, it really looks like it hurt. Watch.
Oof.
As a filmmaker, he exploited himself. What do you have to do in this film? All you got to do is sit in your car. You made some funny joke about that. I don't know if it was last time or the time before. He goes, "You want to be in my movie? Sure. What do I got to do? You just have to sit in your car." Not telling him what's coming.
Oh my God, insane. At least he landed.
Now look how the other cars are now moving.
Right.
It's a really well shot thing, and I don't begrudge him for showing it 3 or 4 times. It is the money shot.
And there you go. That's what happened in 2
Boom.
seconds. And these cars get fucked up.
Yep.
I never
These are
seen.
all his cars, the parked cars, the cop cars chasing, the cars getting destroyed. He owned them all from his junkyard.
Nuts. I never seen Behind the Green Door, the 70s porno movie, but there's a slow motion scene in that, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I seen. I had a joke about
Now,
that.
he has escaped the cops because their own roadblock has prevented them from going further. It didn't prevent Toby, but it prevented them. This is new footage. No, it's not. This is the.
Let's say there's a woman
Yeah,
from the.
It ruined my perfectly good umbrella.
Yep. Here we are. Weird. Like the radio station must be on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, he's got a balcony.
Oh, let's go to Ash's.
Yeah, let's go to the car. Let's go to Ash, where I'll
Shakey's
find
Pizza.
another Eleanor, just coincidentally.
Right. I bet you that Shakey's is still there in California.
You could go here, Mike, and find out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Don't throw away.
Listen, every time I'm in Los Angeles and I walk by a Shakey's Pizza, I go, oh, I wish today was my birthday.
Now, here is a nice Eleanor being washed. Now, turn up the sound. You'll hear her be surprised. What happened to your car?
I'm pressing mute.
Too late. Too late. Here's what I want you to do next episode. I want you to take some duct tape and put the remote in your hand.
You
and
see me.
Turn up the sound. You go, click.
You said turn up the sound. I'm practicing.
Well, you missed it. He said, dynamite. You missed it.
God, right?
Oh, wait. Turn up the sound. Turn up the sound. Oh, you missed it. He goes, what you talking about, Willis? You missed it.
He did not say that.
What you talking about, Willis?
He said that in 1974?
And so the show was born.
And
Okay,
then he said,
now we've
live from
seen
New York, it's Saturday night.
He went to the lady and said, "There's been a problem. We have to rewash your car." And she goes, "What?" He goes, "Just go speak with the man in the office. I'll take it around to rewash it." And stole.
Is he smoking a doobie? No, it's a
No,
guitar
he's
pick.
learning that it's his car that was stolen.
Weird.
Wig off,
Wig
mustache
off.
off. You're right. It was a fake mustache.
Yeah, he wore a fake itchy mustache while hopping onto a helicopter.
These guys are so poor. They're sharing a cigarette, I guess.
Oh, but they only had one hand rolled. It's not even tobacco, Carl.
It's not tobacco? Wow, they are poor. A hand rolled non tobacco cigarette shared between three guys. That is
While
poverty.
driving and drinking beer.
Well, madam, I don't know where your car is, but if someone said they're rewashing it, I'm sure they're rewashing it. Now she'll see her car all junked up because it's really the car in the chase, and she'll faint.
They try to make. I mean, it's such a weird coincidence, but you know what? I'll take it. It
Watch,
doesn't matter.
she's going to see her own car and
Right.
go, "Oh, faint." He
God,
was
it's 11 cents for gas. I can't believe it. You do that to me all the time. We watch a movie from the 70s. You're like, it's 2 bits a gallon.
Oh yeah, the prices of stuff you get
Yeah.
crazy.
They'll have like there's a thrifty, and they'll probably be like, gallon of milk, half
I
a penny.
watched what was the famous Bruce Willis film in which they
Di-
were Die Hard.
Yeah,
I
Die
watched
Hard.
Die Hard. It was 97 cents a gallon.
In 86?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They canned up to the tower. You saw the gas price, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Also, cigarette prices too are fun to see.
Listen, if I had a time machine, I would waste it. I would just fill up. I just go back in time, fill up, go forward in time.
You come back, everyone has 3 arms. Carl, you did it again. Stop doing that. Stop going back in time to get cheap gas.
This was well done too. He gets away from the cop, and then it's like, "Wait a minute," and he thinks he's getting busted, and I don't know. It was well done, but it was already done and gone in 60 seconds, so I don't feel like telling the audience. Luckily, we're almost done with this film. Now, this is all new footage. This is Axton showing up
thank
at
God.
the car wash going, "That's the wrong guy."
Unbelievable. What a weird movie.
Yeah. Look at his 82 hairstyle. 83.
There has been movies that revisit the original footage of their first movie. Back to the Future 2, Michael J. Fox
Yes.
walks through the climactic scene and the climax of the sequel. He walks. They insert him in the climax of the first movie.
Is it a ripoff in your opinion?
No, absolutely not. It was really clever. It
Yeah.
was a clever. And one half it is a ripoff because the sequel just has the same set scenes, but now
Mhm.
it's in the future. He's being chased. So on one hand, I knew that scene was going to come, but the fact that they cynically used the original scene itself,
Yeah.
I thought that was really commendable. And I thought all that Who Framed Roger Rabbit shit really showed the director was able to do that in '88.
So this is the same as before. Bye, Billy.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I know we shared a movie together, but do I know you?
So Axton now said, "That's not our guy," and it's pretty much the film's going to end. It's pretty much.
The first movie ends with them getting away with it.
Yes.
And this movie, it ends with him getting away with it and Hoyt saying, they got away with it.
Yes. That's the difference. Look, see the
The
fire?
car's on fire, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Wait a minute. This is a typo. It's a typo. How can you end the movie? I know
Written,
the original movie.
produced, and again by H.V. Halicki. Again.
These guys get a lot of screen time
Yeah.
during the end credits. They made it to the end of the movie.
And I don't think that this footage was gone in 60 seconds. So we're getting something fresh if it's not new.
Well, I remember that his wife re-released the movie with new end credits.
Yep. Well, going in 60 seconds, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this footage wasn't in it.
No, this footage was not in it. It was put back in the day by H.B. Halicki in.
Carl, what'd you think of this movie?
I think that I learned that I should rent Mondo, New York, and I might regret it when I learn. Okay, what I think of this movie is it isn't even clever. It was a ripoff. He didn't need to do this. He should have made another film. He absolutely had it in his ability. We see that from how he shot the beginning. I just think that he was. I think this film is a ripoff, is what I think.
It is a ripoff. It's interesting in theory. Like if I read about it in a book, I go, "Wow, he took the first movie," because the second movie it was about the characters making the first movie. So
Yes,
the
right.
first movie was fiction, and in the second movie, we meet these sheriffs and these new characters, and then
Yes.
the third movie, these new characters are actually part of the first
Right.
story, which
Never
is no
mind the
longer
second
fiction.
movie.
Yeah.
This is a different universe in which we're having a new movie.
Playgirl magazine gets thanked. I think I like the second movie a lot. I like the end credits. The second movie really
Yeah.
stayed with me. The first movie is good. This guy obviously he's a weirdo, and this is just a weirdo thing he did, and God bless him for it. Look, HB Halicki International released it. HB, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it, but I would recommend and there you go. In memory of Toby. Toby, you were clearly missed by your loved ones, friends, and family. R.I.P.
Clearly.
Toby
He's
Halicki.
clearly missed.
I don't know. I thought the guy's kind of cool. I'm
The
sad
guy
he.
as a person is very cool. He was a badass. He knew what he wanted and made it happen.
he-
He was everybody's friend in the community. He was the coolest guy. This particular movie, though,
I would recommend this movie if you have seen Gone with 60 Seconds and The Junkman, which we did in the last 3 weeks. But if this should not be your intro to it.
yeah, this shouldn't be well. If this is your intro to Toby, he might get away with it because you didn't see
Yeah,
the other
because you
films.
never seen that car chase scene.
Gone in
Uh,
60 Seconds is the good film. It's
yeah.
really the good film.
I like The Junkman too. It had some
I
stuff to
hear
it.
you. I hear you. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, that has been our whirlwind tour. The late HB Toby Halicki. Rest in peace. Rest in power. We love you. We love your film. What a crazy ride. Glad that it's on YouTube. What a kismet. Carl, we're getting away from all this shit.
Thank you. We're
No
not
car
watching 20
crashes in
60
next week's
Seconds too.
movie.
Thank
What's that?
you.
Yeah. So I wonder if these credits, like I remember a couple weeks ago, we sat through this credits, and I
Yeah.
wonder if there's anything new to this third movie that will be interesting.
I must be honest with you. I never watched the end credit. I really felt ripped off by this movie when I was researching it. I started to watch it and I was like, wait a minute, and it really felt like a ripoff. So I did not watch these. I had to watch the end,
Right. But
but
we discovered this movie through YouTube. Literally, we watched the first movie and then popped the sequel, The Junkman, and we said,
yeah,
"Oh, well, that's what we'll watch next
it's
week." And
more of
at
the
the end,
same. Yeah.
yeah, this one popped up. So we were kind of hoping for like a different film, like Junkman was,
Yeah.
even though it was connected to the first film in its own weird way.
Had I known better, I would have skipped this one.
No, I would have said we have to watch it. It's a rip-off bad
That
movie.
sounds
It's
like
a
you.
bad movie
We
rip-off,
saw all
John.
the munchies. Thank you for nothing.
And now we've seen all the Gone in 60 Seconds. Thank you for nothing. Although we should see the sequel. I don't know if I want to see the sequel if he passed away. No, I do. I want to see it.
So it will color your watching of it, knowing that the guy we're watching is not long for this earth, maybe months away, maybe
Right.
weeks away.
I still watched the Game of Death, the Bruce Lee movie where he passed away in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll do it if you want, but the thing is, it's so short. We really should give the audience a little more.
If we do a live show, one of those hour blocks, we should.
Oh, that like we did, and that's why you brought up the comedy festival. Okay.
Right, because we had to do our show in 1 hour to comply with the festival.
I
So
guess
we,
credits are going to end now.
yeah,
Copyright
we're at. I
2000,
see
it
a
says.
website page. Okay, well, next week's movie stars Jodie Foster and John Lithgow. It is called Mesmerized, and it's
Thank
from
you, Michael.
yeah. So we're getting away from car crash culture,
We're
and
going to
we're
watch a
going
Hollywood movie.
we're going to watch a Hollywood train wreck called Mesmerized.
MESMER.
You tell
MESMER.
me.
That's it. MESMERIZED. MES. Okay, I see Umbrella Entertainment.
MES. Okay, I see Mexican radio, wall of voodoo. Okay, here we go.
Ah, interesting.
Umbrella Entertainment. I got it. Okay, hang on a sec. Let me go ahead and cue.
What does he say?
Radio.
I'm a Mexican. That was a good song.
Yeah.
Eating barbecued iguana.
Here in Tijuana. You know, I actually have a Tumblr site called like World Party or something. 80s Tourist. It was all the white bands that had songs about other countries like Africa and Mexican
Interesting.
radio and China.
Interesting.
And it was just like it was Pop Goes the World. I used as a theme song for Men Without Hats. But all these bands that like, oh, another country's a metaphor, you know. All right. Anyway, so that's my Tumblr site. Okay, so we have Umbrella Entertainment, the channel. We have paused the movie. We hit the link. We hit pause. We moved the timer to 000. Carl, are you ready? Let's do the countdown. Here's the mic countdown. The non-comedian countdown. Non-celebrity, non-comedian countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
You have great writing credits.
Umbrella.
I just filmed 30 minutes, and a lot of those jokes were yours, Mike. Including the old refrigerator.
Don't you?
And when I read comics, I don't read the thought bubbles. That was you too.
That's my joke. Why are you telling my jokes?
Because I love you.
Yeah, I love you too, but I'm trying to watch the trailer.
Sorry, my mistake.
Whatever.
Ow.
Ow. Oh, it's a period pieces. There's no cars in this.
It's based on a true story in which a woman poisoned her husband and was acquitted.
All she found was despair.
That's the dad.
Yikes.
Until a man of God.
Ooh, baby coffin.
Why didn't it happen to me? What happened to that child? Unleashing dark, mysterious powers. A secret that would change her life.
What? He's acting. He's acting.
He's John fucking Lithgow. He looks older in this movie than he does now.
That's true. That's interesting.
Jodie Foster.
Ooh.
That's a trick. It's a dream sequence. That's a trick.
Mesmerized. Oh wow! Hey, Carl, this is our first Jodie Foster movie.
Yeah. Is it? No, we saw the one where they're all kids and it's the mobster movie.
Oh, you're absolutely right. What an idiot.
Bugsy Malone.
Yeah, Bugsy Malone. Of course. This is our second Jodie Foster movie.
Yes.
And she has an amazing career. But you know what? Highs and lows for those amazing careers, and this one happened to be in the valley, not up on a mountain. But you know what? That's why we're watching it. So check us out next week. 1985's Mesmerized will be our movie. We can't wait. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you keep Mutiny Radio on. We hope you keep subscribing to our podcast. It's the end of the show. Why do I need to plug that? But definitely, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, check it out. We post these shows every week. Carl, as a guest, actually spends the time and produces a synced version of our podcast and the movie. So, Carl, anything you'd like to promote? Anything we need to say?
Go to carlsucks.com. You'll find it all.
Sounds great. All right. Until next week. We'll see you then. Bye.
Let's watch a full-length movie on YouTube with Mike Spiegelman. Let's watch a full-length movie on YouTube with Mike Spiegelman. You can watch if you want to. You can slap Spiegelman's behind. LWAFLMNOYT on Mutiny Radio. Mutiny. Mutiny! It's pronounced mutiny. Mutiny! It's pronounced mutiny. Mutiny! Oh, my turnoffs are guys who say mutiny. Mutiny? Well, let's watch a full-length movie on YouTube with Mike Spiegelman. Mike Spiegelman. Oh, Mike Spiegelman. Mike Spiegelman. Oh, Mike Spiegelman. man. Hey, much